mind with pure water of love and compassion towards all creatures and remove its impurities of endless lifetime, you will not able to cultivate these wonderful virtues. That means love and compassion to all creatures is the tool to cleanse our mind, and as our mind becomes clean, the world peace can achieve automatically, no need for separate effort. And there is also a beautiful verse in our Indian Vedic philosophy. Gita says, Advesta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmama nirahankara samadukha sukhakemi. That means we should take oath, we should be friendly to all creatures of the globe, despite of religion, caste, color, whatever. India has taken giant steps since independence 68 years ago. It has successfully sent Mangalyaan, the Mars Orbiter Mission 1, built its own combat aircraft Tejas in 2001, sent a successful lunar probe in 2008 through Chandrayaan-1, achieved nuclear capability and boasts of one of the most sophisticated missile programs in the world. In the field of agriculture also, it has achieved self-sufficiency in food. Millions of young children are being empowered through the low-cost Akash tablets, linking 2,500 colleges and 400 universities in a unique e-learning program. I am proud to be born Indian, the country of great Tagore, Mahatma, Nehru, Kalam and Modi, a rich and vibrant democracy that preaches religious tolerance and celebrates its unity and this diversity. Undoubtedly, India is a vast and beautiful land. However, the beauty and the goodwill of this great nation gets spoiled with the kind of corruption and with the kind of irrationalities that is happening in India. Superstitions are rampant in our society, and what else? We are degrading our environment and natural resources. My country is my home, and I will keep it always clean from all angles. These ideas must be cultivated. This is the roadmap for a better and brighter India. I dream of a prosperous India where people from all religions, culture and languages live together in peace and harmony. Indeed, my head is held high and my mind is without fear, because being a modern Indian means being born into a country where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, and of course there will be absolutely no corruption, no superstitions, full of peace and harmony all around. Merely by saying that Brahmarshi Vishwamitra has told that, or it is voice of Sri Krishna, or our Veda has told that, Upanishad has told that, or Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavatam has given such and such instructions, one should not follow anything blindly. Further, our Shruti says, our Vedic philosophy even says, Apo Dipo Bhavo. That means we should apply our own wisdom and intelligence as and when opportunity arises. We human beings, with our apt intelligence and of course with our six senses, explored this natural world and discovered many things and called this adventure as science. Science in its development is a collection of exactly observed facts, a correlation or a generalization of these facts forming a system, then formation of these generalizations as laws, then it proceeds to some force or laws to implement these laws. This is the definition of science. That means behind all natural phenomena there is a natural cause, whether we know it or we do not know it. To understand it is the work of science. Here the reason came. So we see there is no depth of social workers, but still social issues are not solved yet. Is not it strange? Certainly. सोच साच उपकार निज सोचना पर उपकार कर ले प्यार हर जीव से तजिदे अपर विचार. This is also a verse from our Vedic philosophy. O soul, think how can you save yourself and put away all these distracting thoughts. Just cultivate love for all creatures of this planet and become truly good. And when we become truly good, you will naturally impact the world and help to make it a better world. So this is the ripple effect. You have a steel lake and you throw a little pebble in it, and the pebble creates the ripples, and ripples spread through the entire lake. So similarly, when we become good, then the people in our environment are influenced by it. The people who are working under us are impacted by it. The people who are working above us are inspired by us, and everybody is benefited. So if we wish to make this world a better place, let us start with the workshop of ourselves and making ourselves a better individual. In this way, we can make this world a better place, a violence-free world. Jai Vigyan, Jai Insan. Victory to science and victory to humanity.
Was to create a violence-free world. Non-violence towards the self is caring for oneself. Self-love is a crowning sense of self-worth. Real caring is not just what we say, but it is what we do. Make a list of at least 5 things to take the world to better care of yourselves. Request a guest of honor, Mrs. Latika Pradhan, Chairperson, State Social Welfare Board, to share her views on the topic.
On the dais and the audience and the students of different department of this university, I heartily congratulate Mr. Nihar Ranjan Acharya, who has put his all effort in improving the social sector, and I think this is the right time to choose such topic. This is the most important topic now to be discussed. We are discussing it since long after independence. We are talking about violence-free, equality, all other things. But something lying in our mind is, as head of the Department of Geology said, that violence is contrary of violence is love. Yes, there is a big change. We have to change our mindset. That is the real thing. I will put some more, as I am in hurry, I have to rush to Ganjam. So I will not take much time of yours. Some important person, before going to remedy, must speak few words about reasons for to the violence. Self-respect by definition is a confidence, and pride is knowing that your behavior is both honorable and dignified. When you harass or vilify someone, you not only disrespect them but yourself also. Street harassment, sexual violence, sexual harassment, gender-based violence and racism are all acts committed by a person who in fact has no self-respect. Respect yourself by respecting others. This is the quote given by a practical guide for women. Mostly when the word comes violence, we always think about children and women. They are the most vulnerable section of violence. They are insecure. Violence against women dates back to the history of mankind. Several forms of abuse have been described in our ancient epic like Mahabharata and Ramayana. There have been efforts at global level to eliminate violence against women. The United Nations Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women 1993 states that violence is a manifestation of historical unequal power relations between men and women, which have led to domination over the discrimination against women by men, and to the prevention of the full advancement of women. And violence against women is one of the crucial social mechanisms by which women are forced into a subordinate position compared with men. This form of domestic violence is most common of all. One of the reasons for it being so prevalent is the orthodox and idiotic mindset of the society that women are physically and emotionally weaker than the men. So women today have proved themselves in almost every field of life, affirming that they are not less than men. The reports of violence against them are much higher, much larger in number than against the men. bride torture to the state dowry, school-going kid succumbs to his injury after bitten by father, a 70-year-old man killed over property dispute, harassment in every nook and corner of the society is alarming and daily comes to limelight by the media people. So it is good, but till today so many cases also not reported due to self-respect or maybe the other causes better known to you all in every respect. But I must say few words of the same observation I have been find out from my subconscious mind. These are all this and what not turned to any newspaper at random, and you would find the respects of such kind of violence all over the country. These are all what we come to know through different forms of media. There are more such cases which go unreported every day. In fact, include the cases which we self-indulge in or the ones which we witness in the neighborhood but are hesitant in taking even a single step to reduce the occurrence. Violence against women is a major public health problem in the country. The problem is grossly underreported. A number of factors have been blamed for crimes against women. An inefficient law enforcing machinery has often been targeted for the increasing number of cases being reported. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 recognizes 4 types of violence in domestic relationships: physical, sexual abuse, emotional or verbal abuse, and economic violence. The categorization is also applicable for violence against women in other settings. Do you know all the occurrences that India is the 4th most dangerous country in the world after Afghanistan. Congo and Pakistan, female foeticides, child marriage and high level of trafficking and domestic servitude make India the world's largest democracy, the 4th most dangerous place for women. 100 million people, mostly women and girls, are involved in trafficking in one way or other. According to Madhukar Gupta, former Indian Home Secretary, up to 50 million girls are missing over the past century due to female infanticide and foeticides. 44.5% of girls are married before the age of 18. The children in India, a statistical appraisal study reported that during the share of children to total population decline, the decline was sharper for female children than male children in the age group of 0 to 6 years. Manifestation of violence against women occur throughout the lifespan from pre-birth infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood to old age. Violence is inflicted in children, adults with disabilities and several mental illness and occurs in different settings such as at home, workplace, hospitals, jails, governmental and non-governmental homes for the underprivileged and in the community. It occurs in all socio-economic and cultural groups. World Health Organization advocates action plans to be implemented at national level to prevent violence as a global campaign. Of major concern are increasing cases of domestic violence, sexual harassment at workplace, dowry-related violence, honor killings, acid attacks, and gang rapes. Violence against young widows has also been on a rise in India. Most often they are crushed for their husband's death and are deprived of proper food and clothing. They are not allowed or encouraged for remarriage in most of the homes, especially in rural areas. There have been cases of molestation and rape attempts of the woman by other family members in nuclear families or someone in the neighborhood. At times, women are even sexually coerced by the partner themselves against their will. They are brutally beaten and tortured for not conceiving a male child. Incidents like raping of a woman's womb or killing the female fetus when she disagrees for abortion have also come to light, especially in rural areas. Female foeticides and female infanticides continue to be a rising concern. Though it is not a political meeting, intellectual debate and academic orientation program, I must debate on the topic for the regard to compassion. Compassion, a feeling of wanting to help someone who is suffering. I feel so violence is not only confined to women and girls only. It is everywhere. Violence can be seen everywhere with male, old age persons. All are suffering with this kind of thing in the society. We all are getting out of the burden that this lookout, this is lookout of the police, not ourselves. The matter can be taken with the police. But when it comes to us, we expect each and every person of the civil society should come forward and take care of the matter. Yes, now this demand of society, we should not ignore any violence occur nearby us, and we should not leave that all the responsibility with the social organizations who are taking much care rather than the single individual. All social organizations are fighting at their best to provide better facilities to the humankind. So I really appreciate with that kind of service to the mankind. But we must not forget that we have also got some responsibility. Government has facilitated us more laws, more helplines have been dedicated for children and women. Recently, in March 8th, a helpline was dedicated by our Honorable Chief Minister, 181 for women. I request all of you, whenever you see a woman getting tortured by any means, you please help her by ringing up 181. And if you see a child in chaos situation, you must help the child by ringing 1098. This kind of help is also a great help to the vulnerable section. Thank you very much. I beg apologize to all of you that I have to rush for another meeting at Ganjam district. So I'll just go right now. Thank you very much.
Fighting wars. Today, we must do the things we think we cannot do. Today, we all should believe and have all the that we have all the resources to move our life in the direction of peace. We should be aware of simple, peaceful and enlightening responses that we receive from others. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Chittaranjan Das on the stage to take the chair. I apologize. Now I would like to invite Mr. Chittaranjan. Now I would like to invite our honorable guest, Sri Shyama Narayan Tiwari, former DGP, Odisha, to share his views.
Distinguished panelists of this inaugural session, my good friend Shri Afsar Beodia, my colleague Shri Arvind Bera, who is not here, Dr. Narendra Nayak, Srimati Radhika Pradhan of Social Board, she has just left, Shri Purna Ratha, Shri Chittaranjan Mishra, who has just taken over the chair, Professor Mahanti, ladies and gentlemen, we are all assembled here in the inaugural session to discuss how we can have a violence-free world. I'm really overwhelmed by the presence of luminaries of all fields of life who have made initiative in the social firmament of Odisha. We have now all credits for this function goes to Nihar, who has been the sole organizer, I must say, due to cooperation of all of you, to organize such nice functions and seminars. He has been a pioneer and a crusader in matters of inculcating social spirit among the people and also against superstitions. When you talk of violence-free world, I am reminded of Sri Ravi Shankar. He said, this is a utopia. This is a crazy idea. He thought that it's not possible to have violence-free world because the human nature is so different, geography is so different, the cultures are so different, the greed of people is and their bases are so different that we cannot have a really violence-free world. Now, you may be known that in USA about 3,000 children have been gunned down in the schools and in the racial regions because of the discrimination. So long this violence, so long discrimination prevails, so long malice prevails, so long lack of compassion prevails, the violence cannot be eradicated. I shall be enumerating a few factors which are responsible for violence. First is intolerance. We have seen in the universities, particularly in JNU, there is one Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. They are rightists and that they are offshoot of RSS. On the other hand, we have the communist ideologies. They have CPI, CPM and the front organizations like SFA and all that. A few days back, Kaniya, who was one of the leftists in the school, in the college, he gave a speech. He condemned the hanging of Afzal Guru, who was one of the persons who was hanged because of the attack on Parliament. So there are people of different ideas, different ideologies. These ideologies are ingrained in their minds right from the beginning. Now the boys believe that power flows from the barrel of guns. So they have their own belief. They feel that the democratic society is no good. So we have such divergent culture, divergent thoughts, divergent ideas that it becomes very difficult to reconcile all of them. Now the universities have become hotbed of intolerance because the age of franchise was lowered from 21 to 18 years. Then I find that all that you see doing assembly propaganda and parliament propaganda, you see all on the campus of the assembly, campus of the universities. Now they are jihadis. Jihadis means the judges believe in particular religion and they feel that all our other kafirs, so that means whether Jew or Christian or Hindu, they are kafirs and they feel that their God is superior to other gods. Now they forget that Ramakrishna Paramahans had told that water is called, in English it is called water, in Sanskrit it is called jal, in Urdu it is called aab, but the ingredients are the same, two hydrogen and one oxygen molecule, H2O. So in our Hindu scriptures it is said that Eko ham Bauda Badati. The God is one, but everyone thinks differently. So unfortunately, our society, our countries are divided in such a manner that each one thinks that his God is superior to the other. And that's why we find this clash between Shia and Sunnis, between Brahmins and Dalits, between Jat Sikhs and the Rai Sikhs. And what was planned in the ancient India was the caste system, It was basically based on professions. The Brahmins were used to do puja, worship, and open reflection.